Hello, my name is Joanne, and this is Joe Mama's Garden. I am making this video to thank Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm. I would never have done this if it wasn't for you, Jess. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. I will tell you a little bit about myself. I am a dental assistant and work at an office at this time as a office manager and dental assistant, expanded function, so I can help out in the back. And I do work 40 hours a week, and usually on the weekends I garden because I found that it's exactly how Jessica said. It gives me peace. It is where I can have a refuge, where I can work out problems, where I can see the beauty in nature and the beauty that God has given us. And I just love it. It is where I go to work out my problems. It's where I go to relax and find joy. And thank you. So let's look at our garden. It's not perfect because who's perfect? I live in Phoenix, Arizona, where it is hot. This is May, and we did have a cooler springtime this year, so a lot of things were able to grow for an extended period of time, and I have let some things go to seed. And I will make a video on how I collect the seeds from the lettuce and different items. But I direct sowed these watermelon about 3 weeks ago, and it seems like my direct sow grows much quicker than the transplants. That is not a transplant. This is a transplant of a watermelon, and I started them probably 6 weeks ago. They just didn't grow as well. So I have some Carolina type watermelon that's supposed to get huge. I have Jubilee potatoes from last year. You can never get all the potatoes. And our zucchini. And here's a zucchini that is ready to harvest. For sure. Some other ones on here starting to grow. And I have more zucchini over here. And more, this is scallop squash. And nothing budding yet. Started some corn. And rabbits love my garden. Absolutely love the garden. I'll show you some other things over here. Here's some acorn squash. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, bud. There we go. Scallop squash. Some zucchini. Leftover broccoli. The reason I have not taken out the broccoli on that plant and some other things in here The cabbages, we had some extra cabbage that we have let continue to grow. And that is because or I should say my husband John, will make chicken treats out of them. So we are going to be doing that this weekend. Like I said, I will be harvesting some seeds. Here is some cilantro that has seeded. Even though they haven't dried, I can still harvest them. More cilantro. All that is lettuce that's self-seeded from last year. One plant has 10,000 seeds. I mean, it is just crazy. You'll see how many. I'll get one that's a little bit drier. One that's open usually. Like this. So you'll see how many seeds are in that. And we'll get more lettuce next year. Over here we have more cilantro for seeds. This is some Kajari melons, some cantaloupe, and some green fleshed melon. It's starting to grow, climb up this trellis. You do have to train them just a little bit so that they'll just continue to grow up here. Just don't want it to go on the ground. Come on, little guy. Okay. And that will straighten up and start growing like the others. Over here we have some loofah. I'm very excited to grow this loofah this year because I want to make loofah, and it'll be beautiful on this trellis. This is an asparagus bean that has wound its way up, already reaching right here. It's about halfway up. That's about good 4.5 feet tall right there. And one thing I do have quite a bit of here are rabbits. And the rabbits love beans. Absolutely love beans. So we left the gate open last week when we were watering the chickens, and they love the beans. So this is what they look like now. They're starting to come back a little bit though. Some dragon tongue beans. There's some purple potted beans. And you can see where it has bitten through. The flowers are purple. It's beautiful. Some more asparagus beans. We do have some peppers. Peppers I have transplanted. These actually I grew from seed. I just threw some seeds from a store-bought bell pepper. So it should be a green bell pepper. We will find out. But the seeds sprouted. I'm kind of excited to see what happens with that. And I see we have some Very hungry little bugs. I do not spray anything in the garden. It is all natural. We have a lot of birds, and the birds eat all the bugs. But apparently, not all the bugs. Some chamomile that blew in. I don't know how it blew in. Not sure at all. These are my dogs that are helping me in the garden today by moving the plants around. Let's just put this back up here. I'm trying to have it go up the trellis instead of laying on the ground, just in case the rabbits do get back in. Here are some cucamelons, or Mexican sour gherkins, and they do take a little bit of time to establish, for sure. That is about 4 plants that are right there. Some flowers that we had over the springtime. It's about time to take everything out. That's the hardest part for me, is to take things out of the garden. And I do work full time, so I don't get to the garden as often during the week. And it is quite amazing how fast weeds will grow. Here are some National Pickling cucumbers. My irrigating system is not reaching over here as well as it should. Here's another Armenian cucumber, which we love. So I'm going to have to hand water these. Here is another Armenian cucumber next to the borage. The borage doesn't do so great in the heat. But apparently it makes good shade to lay under. Right, Pepper? More chamomile. I love chamomile. It's beautiful. This is a tomatillo plant. I had tomatillos in this garden a year and a half ago. It was the first time we did have a garden here. We just moved to this area about 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. And these are some scalloped squash. We moved here about 2.5 to 3 years ago because this is our retirement home. And we are going to make sure that we are not the bored ones at all. We will have plenty to do. This was a corral. So this was a horse corral. So you see the white fencing here around. It's a corral. That's why you see the white fence. And I do need to pick up some things here, but if I waited till it was perfect, I would never make this video. Of course, that's what Jess from Roots and Refuge says, so this is the real me here. And these tomatoes are planted in my worm bed. The worm bed has an area here in the center for compost. Okay. The worm bed so with this compost in the center of this bed, there are quite a few worms that are in here and then go throughout the garden. And with that, I get more worm castings. And the tomatoes over here were planted the same time as these tomatoes. I don't even know if I can get them all in here in this shot, but they're pretty big. This is a Kajari melon I have growing in a tomato cage. We'll see how that does this year. As you see, I have things planted throughout the garden, kind of scattered. That's our theme this year. Here are some tomatoes planted by seed about a month ago, and peppers here also. Did I show you that I have peppers over there? Thank you for touring my garden with me today, and until next time, we'll see you. This is Joanne. Goodbye.